Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to No Crime After Dark, where we have to talk about crime in the daytime because my best friend is scary. Um, Hopefully you guys checked in with us over the last week. Last week's episode, I always forget the week before. What is my problem? All the research we be having to do, I should remember this kind of stuff.
We did
See, you don't remember either.
I do. Felicia. Sugar.
Oh, Sugar Plum. That's who it was. I can remember Sugar Plum, but I can't remember her name. So last week we covered the disappearance and death of Felicia Williams. So if you haven't had a chance to go take a look at that, definitely do so. Also, remember to subscribe. Those subscriptions will come with notifications. So when those new videos post, you'll already know. So you ain't got to go looking for it. And for the people that know me personally, you ain't got to be texting me asking for it. I need you to go subscribe. We need those numbers. Today we are going to be talking about, it's actually pretty popular right now. It was new to me. She's seen it multiple times apparently. But it's a buzz going around right now currently about it. The documentary Dear Zachary. I was not prepared for a lot of the information I received. I didn't think it was going to be this deep or take me 3 days to get through the documentary, but dag nabbit, I made it. So we're going to get into that, and Top will get us started.
Okay, so basically the documentary is a best friend of Andrew Bagby. That it kind of it's all, like you said, it's all over the place. But he just started his documentary because he lost his friend, and he just learned some things about him that he kind of wanted to take a journey with him, with all his friends or whatever. So Andrew was born in California to Kate and David Bagby. David was in the Navy. He was an engineer, I believe, and was a nurse practitioner for the OBGYN. And he grew up just, like a regular boy. He did Boy Scouts. Him and his friends, they, burned down the woods, occasionally. Like, just, a normal, Kurt thing was making movies. So Andrew was in a lot of his movies as they grew up, and the mom and dad also as well. And they just grew up as best friends, and he just wanted to, I guess, make memories of him. And Andrew was born September. He's the only child. Let's see what else. He was always set on being a doctor. He didn't get into, I believe, one of the schools that he wanted to get in the United States. His mom is the one that came home from work with the application to go to Newfoundland. Is that what it was called? Newfoundland in Canada, or St. John's, Newfoundland in Canada, or something like that. And he applied. He got in, and then that's when we go south.
So in 3 days of watching the documentary, I missed all that somehow, which is why she's here. We pick up the slack for each other. But after he got into this school in St. John's, Zachary went into surgery.
Not Zachary, Andrew.
Andrew, sorry, wrong person, right story. But Andrew went into surgery. He did that for a little while. Wasn't really working for him. So then he actually ended up leaving and went to be a resident at a family practice in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. So once he gets to Pennsylvania,
he met her already at school.
He
met her at Newfoundland. He left, and she came to Iowa. She was in Iowa.
Well, I know. She was in the Council Bluffs. That's 2 hours from my house. Yeah.
She was in Iowa, and they met each other, and they were kind of like his friends that he grew up with. Was kind of thrown off about the relationship because he was engaged to Michelle, which would be a high school friend. But they ended up breaking it off. And they said he was very brokenhearted about it because he felt like no one else is going to probably love me the way that she did. I practically, I lost the love of my life, basically.
Right.
And he just was kind of like gonna just deal with anything, which came homegirl.
So 99, Shirley. Her name will be Shirley. Shirley and Andrew started dating. Apparently early on, his friends, they were thrown off by the age difference because she was already in her 40s.
And he was 20 something, like 20.
Yeah, he was still relatively young. She had kids probably his age at that point. So they were thrown off by that. And then also
she was already a doctor, but she wasn't practicing. So they didn't understand that. Yeah, they didn't understand that as well.
That's a little skittish. And they know that she was obsessive.
Mm-hmm.
So they date. I didn't catch exactly how long they were dating. I looked on YouTube and a couple other places. I didn't catch how long they were dating.
It was a few months before he went, because they were trying to do long distance, but he kind of pushing himself away. She was upset. He got an invitation to one friend's wedding. He already had invited her to that wedding before they kind of like officially broken up. So he kept his word as the man he was, or was. He kept his word and allowed her to come to the wedding.
She didn't go. So
no, she went to Carl's. She didn't go to the other guys.
Okay. So they were together at least, we're going to say 1.5 years, 2 years.
On and off, or
because it says he officially broke up with her before everything happened on November 3rd, 2001.
Yep.
So they were together over a year, we can assume. So she's being weird. They let her go to this first wedding. She's still being weird. Now the other friend's wedding come up and Andrew's like, nope, not doing it.
Pass on that.
Yeah.
And she sent him like, I don't know, 70 voicemails.
They said 70 voicemails.
They were like,
this was big bad. She didn't get to go.
Right. She's gonna let him know.
Was block not a thing back in 2001? Was we not able to block people? No, we was blocking people because even my little cricket phone, if I took your number out of my phone book, you couldn't call me if you were on that block list.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he didn't know how to do that yet.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we was blocking people.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Block your number to like call someone private if you were not allowed to call.
Yeah, calling out, but I'm saying calling in. Because how I found out was Jimmy was being a little weird at that time. And he was blowing me up and I didn't feel like dealing with it. And I figured I learned that if I took his number out of my phone and added him to that block list, it would send him straight to my voicemail.
Yeah, no, I didn't know how to do that either.
I shouldn't have had to do that to him, but I did. Yeah. For like a month.
We just like, girls, but never phone is this.
Right. We live in the same house though. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
So anyway, November 3rd, 2001, Andrew broke up with Shirley. Literally put her on a plane.
She was in Pennsylvania and he sent her on a plane back to Iowa. This is over. I'm done. There's no more you and I. Long distance, no more, nothing. Nothing.
I don't know what there is to do in Pennsylvania, but I know to get put on a plane sent back to Council Bluffs, Iowa, of all parts of Iowa. You have to, we call it Council Tucky because it's so country. And there's so much wrong with that area. But anyway, to go from anywhere to get put on a plane.
I think that she was already living there.
No, she was, but it's to get booted back. Like he just broke up with you and sent you back to Bumpkinville, USA.
That's where you belong. That's your home. You need to go right over there to your house.
I'd have been mad about the way he did it, but I wouldn't have took it as far as she
did. I mean, he tried to break up with you many times. You just don't want to listen. Now here you go again.
Oh, but yes, Andrew was like, you know what? Check this out. I got this plane ticket. Your flight leave at 2:30. We need to be there about 12:45. So let's go and get you up out of here.
Yes, please.
And sent her back to Council Bluffs. 16 hours away. This is a key number because I had to write that down too. On November 5th, Andrew's friend, Dr. Simpson, advised Andrew not to meet up with Sure.
So he went to work the next morning, right? Or the next morning. So I'm assuming on the 4th, and told him, Shirley showed up in my house at 5:00 this morning.
16-hour drive, y'all.
Right. I put her on a plane yesterday and she's here today. And the doctor was like, yeah, that's weird. You should know. And he's like, well, no, I'm going to meet with her at 6 p.m. So, and I'll be over your house about 7:15 or 7:40, something like that.
7:30. So I'm going to meet with her at 6 and I'll be at your house about
7:30 to have a beer or whatever. They're going to hang out. He never showed up. He called. He didn't answer. But the next morning, he didn't come do his rounds. He just never comes. And the news was on and a doctor was looking and they had found a man in scrubs in the park. And that's all they knew so far.
So shout out to his coworkers, first of all, because they paid attention.
They knew right away.
Yeah, like they knew, especially the Dr. Simpson dude, because he was one of the last people to talk to Andrew. They were on it. Like, okay, he done missed rounds. He done missed the morning meeting.
Right. Something's not right.
He ain't answering the phone. So Dr. Simpson.
He only lived across the street from the hospital.
Right.
He lived right across the street.
So Dr. Simpson pulled a me or you and was like, all right, so I'm about to come over to the house. Be there at 5.
Right.
And
yeah.
So then that was November 6th. I'm trying to stay on track. So we're going to take a detour because this is a major factor. From jump, Dr. Simpson let the police know, y'all need to go talk to Shirley.
Oh, as soon as the detectives came into I guess once they found his badge and noticed that that's where he worked or was, they came in and that guy was like, no.
Y'all need to talk to Shirley.
Shirley. Yeah, they knew.
It's Miss Shirley. So I got the timeline of the phone report. So we started with girl, because she just stupid. So after Andrew didn't show up for the morning report, that was when Dr. Simpson called him to let him know he was going to stop by. At 9, the clinic staff had that meeting, and that's when they were notified that Andrew was dead and his body was found in the park behind his car. Shot
5 times.
5 times.
Yeah, 5 times.
A man walking through Keystone Park at 6:10 p.m. November 5th. Now, this would be the day or the morning of. Well, no, 6:10 p.m. That would be the evening that they were supposed to meet up. They were supposed to meet up at 6. So this is 10 minutes after they were supposed to meet up. Andrew and Shirley, that dude walks through the park and saw a black Toyota Corolla parked next to an SUV.
This is before they found him dead the next morning. He only seen the car there.
So Shirley drove a Toyota RAV4 SUV. We stated he was shot 5 times in the face, chest, twice in the buttocks, and in the back of the head. So at one point he was facing her, and at another point he was running. That's exactly what it tells me.
And then he's a nice guy because he turned and tried to run away from her.
Yeah.
Most guys would have been like, girl, what the heck? Like, what you supposed to shoot with this gun? Like,
he just tried.
Right.
Yeah, he just tried to get away. The ammunition used was a .22 caliber bullet, and 6 of the casings were spent, and 1 live round was found at the scene.
Who owned a .22?
Girl, Shirley.
Shirley did.
Shirley had a
gun. Shirley had that thing.
Shirley had a little pew.
Right.
Now, this is where Shirley gets sloppy.
Yeah.
Shirley had just recently, they didn't say how recently, but it was recent enough to bring up concern, had just recently bought the pew. She had 3 lessons with a firearm instructor who said she was using that same .22 and that ammunition, and the instructor said that it would sometimes malfunction and release live rounds onto the ground.
Yes. Yep.
We're about 3 strikes in already, Shirley.
She did it.
Shirley. Shirley. Anyway, at first she agreed to let the police do a search, but at the last minute she couldn't find the gun.
You see the voice, the message? I mean, the phone call.
I told you I had to keep stopping and pausing.
Or my car, maybe it's in the closet. Yeah, sure, girl.
It went from the closet to the car till she gave it to Andrew and watched him put it in his trunk.
That night.
That he ended up dead.
So you been telling me he put you on a plane, you drove 16 hours back to give him a gun that somebody killed him with, and then you drove 16 hours back, and then you telling us now it was in the closet? Oh, no.
The same type of gun that you just recently bought and you've been going to target practice with.
Girl.
Okay, because now we just
ain't that damn hard. I don't know what she got going on. It's probably why she wasn't practicing.
You know, they say oftentimes people that are really book smart lack common sense.
And you know what else will say? Common sense ain't that common.
It ain't. It is very selective about who it belongs to.
Jeez.
So then, what was you with them?
I said she was a hot mess.
Okay. That she was anyway. Now we're gonna get to the phone records. Because I wasn't playing about this timeline because it was just
I'm like, girl.
And I mean, shout out to Kurt. Because Kurt was like time for time, date for date.
He said on this day you call this, on this day, yes, Kurt was gonna get
Kurt, if you end up for whatever reason watching this particular episode, next time you do a documentary, when you're giving punitive information, can you slow down just a little bit? Like, I talk pretty fast myself, but bruh, that's why it took me 3 days to finish the documentary.
I think he was just more worried about making it, making it.
He wants to make it more about the memories, but
right,
yeah.
But we got it. I pushed pause
multiple times. So Shirley claimed to be in bed when Andrew was murdered. However, her phone said different.
Was not in bed. Wide
awake.
Phone,
she might have been in bed, but her phone was all.
Her phone was wide awake. Her phone was traveling.
So on November 4th, her records show, or her cell phone records show her making a call from Chicago. Now, granted,
and while we wait for these records, though, Shirley took her ass back to Canada.
I skipped that part. I showed you.
Shirley didn't wait an hour.
That whole left.
You guys go ahead and track those records. I'm gonna move back to Canada. So
and the cold part is it only took her a couple hours to do it because that's literally like a straight through flight, depending on where she went. Yeah. Once she left Iowa, she was over the Canadian border. Like, it's really not that far. Yeah, that's almost like going to Canada from Michigan. So it's not that far.
Yeah.
But on November 4th, after she fled the country, her phone tags her at 7:08 and 7:10 in Chicago. Then another from South Bend, Indiana, at 10:19 on that same night. Then another call from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You in the bed though. Your phone is a long ways away for you to be in the bed. At 8:07 a.m. November 5th, which is when we're assuming she would have showed up at Andrew's front door. At 11:26 p.m. on November 5th, she made a call from Cleveland, Ohio. You know what she was doing back then at that time, y'all? She was on her way back home.
She did her crime.
She was on her way back home. She made a call from Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm sorry, this was the part that blew me because it got past me and then I caught it. Before she left to go back home, she stopped at Andrew's house, logged on to eBay for a minute, then left and headed to go home.
And then when she got home, she called him, left a voicemail.
Yes, like she was checking on him.
After you.
And that was when she was in Stewart, Iowa. So she was maybe an hour or so out from Council Bluffs at that point. Because Iowa looked big, but it ain't. It's just a million small towns. And so she was maybe about an hour from home that last call. That was the call before the last call. I'm sorry. She called from Stewart. Then when she got home, she called Andrew. So That's when she done left and went to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
This hoe attended his memorial.
Mm-hmm. And then was talking crap to the ex-fiance.
He didn't even like you. He don't love you like that. He never cared about you. It was always me. It was never you.
That's why he broke up with your ass.
No, not just put you on a plane. I ain't never had a dude pay for me a ticket to get away from him.
Mm-mm.
You can break up with me all day, but ain't nobody ever put me on a flight.
On a plane and just kicked you away. Go on, get away. My God.
You gotta be a terrible person for that to happen.
And he was because he seemed like a nice man.
And the thing is, you assume because people die, all of a sudden I was the greatest. I don't want y'all to lie at my funeral. Seriously,
we won't.
I was the nicest person in the world and all the things. And it's not always true because if any of y'all get up and do that, God gonna strike the whole church down. I mean, I'm nice when I want to be, but don't get up there lying. But literally, no, it was like the same thing. And we're talking family members, friends from childhood, co-workers, like pretty much everybody he came into contact.
And then being a doctor or going through residency, you're meeting all different people at different places.
And they said his patients loved him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would think that he seemed like a very good person. And I don't think that he will, be mean to you and put you on. But you must really drove that man crazy to make him be like, you got to go. I just really can't deal with you no more.
And that goes to show, because some people in his situation, I think my personal opinion on part of why he was feeling the way he felt after him and his ex-fiance broke up is because I can see how because to me, he wasn't no bad looking dude, but just looking at him, I could assume that's probably
how he felt.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and he might have been a little awkward. So he might have felt like, ain't nobody gonna want to be with me like she was with me. Ain't nobody gonna let me like she did.
And
so I can see that.
Knowing him since they were younger. So that's like
it's comfortable. Yeah, it's familiar. It's what he knew. But that goes to show how a person can feel a certain way about themselves, but still know that this thing over here is not it. Like this is not it. Like I know I might not be able to get nothing else, but I know I shouldn't have to deal with this.
Yeah.
So shout out to him for at least noticing the red flags and trying to move around.
But being because he shouldn't have met her at that park. Because after, like that guy said, after he put it on
at least not by himself.
I said
at least not by himself.
I said everything I had to say before I put you on that plane.
I mean, real talk, or whatever you got to say to me, you can say it over this phone.
I don't got nothing to say. I don't even know why you calling me.
I mean, apparently we're about to get into that, but apparently she did have something to tell him, but that's not what she met up with him to tell him for.
No.
So on December 12th. Wait, I skipped a whole lot of something.
No, you didn't. That's what happened. She went to Canada, and then they end up trying to get her.
They arrested her in Newfoundland.
Yeah, they arrested her on December 12th. Then February 7th.
No, wait. They arrested her on December 12th. She got out on December 12th.
Yeah.
Shout out to Canada.
Yeah. She didn't post her bond. I think her psychiatrist posted her
This
bond.
is exactly, I got it word for word what they said.
Yeah.
She was arrested and released the same day. All the judge required her to do for a murder charge.
Okay.
For a murder I told you I wasn't playing with this timeline because Kurt was too detailed, so I couldn't leave nothing out. Pay $75,000 in insurities, which I'm assuming is restitution, bond, or whatever for Canada. And insurities, of which her psychiatrist, she has a psychiatrist. That's another red flag. Now, don't get me wrong.
Pay for bond.
Get your therapy. Get your mental together. But I could have a therapist, but I guarantee you they ain't putting $65,000 down on my bond.
For murder.
Especially when we've been talking. I'm half crazy. So her psychiatrist paid $65,000 of her insurities. She had to turn in her passport. Now, again, these are the judge's requirements for her to be free. Turn in her passport, sign in once a week with the local police department. Excuse me. Promise not to leave Newfoundland and stay away from Andrew's family and friends.
That's it.
I want y'all to hear how loud the silence is after that.
Yeah, I've never heard of such a thing.
No house arrest, nothing. Probation, nothing. You're going to be good?
Yeah.
You're going to be good.
Promise? What the heck?
And I've always heard Canada has like the most lenient laws, like in comparison to most countries, but that's ridiculous, dog. Like,
I also feel like if United States is coming for her because she's give them to the United States.
You know everybody ain't gonna give nothing to the United States, right? We be out here bullying people. Don't nobody want to do us no favors.
This is true, but that lady, she needs to be back to the United States.
Ain't nobody doing this. United States is that cousin that always need to borrow $20 till Friday. That's who we are. Don't nobody want to be that.
Don't give it to them. Don't give it to them. They're gonna take advantage. Today is 20, tomorrow's 50.
Right. When the United States is that country, don't nobody want to fool with us when we need a favor. Oh Lord. So in 2002, February 7th, 2002. I don't know how I forgot that date. Andrew's parents found out Shirley
4 months pregnant.
4 months pregnant.
With Andrew's baby.
And that was Andrew's baby.
It was.
That baby looked just like him. That was Andrew's baby.
Telling you that I said that's Andrew. That's Andrew.
He came back as his son.
He said, "Here I am."
Yeah. That's Andrew's baby. You know, she named him Zachary Andrew Bagby.
So this whole documentary switched to now Kurt's making this video for him. Now he's making this film for his nephew, because that's what I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
But he can see his dad and how many people loved his dad and how great his dad was. So
this is where
Dave and Kate.
No, wait, we still got some dates.
Wait, Dave and Kate pick up everything though from California.
Oh yeah.
Move to Canada.
No, shout out to Dave and Kate. They quit their jobs. They sold whatever they had to sell. Now we out of here. We finna figure out what's going on. We finna be with this grandbaby. We out of here.
Just picked it all up and left. And who wants to live there? They said the weather, they get like 8 months of winter and then
like 6 people in that documentary was like the weather out here is terrible. Then we get 8 months of winter and 4 months of bad weather. What does that mean?
Right. I don't even know what you're talking about. I was like, oh, and they came from California where, I mean, I'm not trying to say we have the best weather.
I mean, it's better than 8 months of winter and 4 months of bad weather.
Right.
And it's because he didn't specify what bad weather is. Like, is it still snow? Is it raining? Like,
just bad.
Shout out to Newfoundland.
Because I don't know what's going on with that.
Right. So on February 15th, 2002, the extradition request was received.
I wrote all those days down too. I got them right here.
Yeah. The extradition request was received. Then they adjourned until March 11th. In between that time.
Reconvene?
Oh, yeah. How do I not have that page? No, go ahead. They reconvene. Oh, there it is. I flipped it over.
To decide on the date for the extradition on March 25th.
And then they decided the hearing would be May 27th. Then we get to court on May 27th.
The judge said, I can't preside over this.
I dug into it a little bit. So it says they got stuck debating on the French versus English translation of Section 32. You should have seen me on Google trying to figure out what that was.
Okay.
The best I could find is basically it's basically they have to allow French and English in the court because it's Canada, you know.
Okay.
It's a French Canadian country.
Yeah.
So my interpretation of that, because that's the most I was able to get out of it, and I'm nobody's legal attorney, and I didn't feel like trying to figure out the legal jargon. But what I got from it, from what I read, they basically have to speak either or of the language so that the plaintiff or the accused understands what's going on.
Okay.
Which I don't seem to see what the problem would have been because she spoke perfect English. So
right.
Anyway, but that's where they got stuck on 25th. 27th. So then they had to push the decision for the translation to June 11th.
Mm-hmm.
And then that trial lasted 5 minutes. When the judge stated, now he said, you know what, I can't do this. I can't preside over it. I don't even know. I ain't even equipped for this. I don't even know what this means. We wouldn't see court again until July 30th. On July 18th, Shirley gave birth to little Zachary.
Right.
This is when all the bitchiness comes out. Mom and Dad, David, and I'm sorry, what was mom's name? Kate, went to the hospital to see grandbaby like normal grandparents do. Shirley wouldn't even open the door.
She wouldn't let him see him.
They had to leave his gift outside the door.
Mm-hmm. And just hear him cry or make a noise or whatever.
It's just some things I feel like I'd be willing to take the charge. Mm-hmm. I have a pretty strong feeling that you murdered my husband. You fled the country. You done had my grandbaby. The only thing I have left.
My son.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, my son.
My only son at that.
My only son.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
You fled the country, gave birth to my grandson. The only attachment I have left to my son.
And now you're going to act like it.
And now I can't see my grandson. And then to add insult to injury, the baby looked just like him when they did the back and forth to his baby pictures and Zachary. Like,
oh my God.
You playing too much. So, shout again, David and Kate, they some real ones because they dealt with a lot more than I could imagine dealing with.
Yeah. Because
So, Andrew and Kate formally filed for visitation because Shirley made them wait almost a month to see before that.
Right. And then they got 1 hour a week.
Supervised.
Had to be searched. Like, I don't know.
Criminals again, shout out to Canada. Because
criminals are really you want me searched and I only get an hour supervised. When you okay.
We got pretty strong evidence suggestion you killed my son, but whatever. And that's why I say shout out to David and Kate because they really just roll with the punches for the sake of being able to have a relationship.
And they really trusted that
the system would
go their way. The system will work because this is the right thing to do. She did it. You know, I'm gonna follow the rules. She's gonna be in jail. I'm gonna get my grandson. Whatever the case may be. They just really believed that the system was gonna work in their favor, which it should have. I mean, it's what I don't get it. This is the same thing that we said about the Powell kids. How is this man, a suspect in his wife's disappearance, but he's still able to keep his kids and have child porn in the house? The same thing. Like, who are y'all trying to protect?
Yeah.
She's like investigating, like she's the suspect in a murder, like of this little boy's dad.
They catered to her way too much. Like, I just know, and I ain't saying I'm gonna do it, but if I was to do it, I'm doing it in Canada.
Do it and go to Canada.
I mean, either do it, go there, or do it there, because clearly
they don't.
Google Canada's prisons. They ain't that bad.
Okay,
it's like a high scale project, like
vacation.
I ain't saying I would do it, but if I did do it, if I was gonna do it, I'm going to Canada. Okay, I ain't about having winter all that much, but I'll deal with it.
Yeah, it'd be okay. You be
there. I don't know. I might not be in prison.
Oh, that's true.
I might be at home,
living your life,
still working a regular job.
You promise not to go anywhere. Just promise. You gotta pick sweat.
Your best behavior. You're gonna get a time out.
Yeah.
Shout out to Canada.
Yeah. Then Shirley accuses them of keeping the baby over the hour. Yeah.
And saying because they kept him over the hour, he came back in distress. Because he missed her. And the supervisor said, "No, ma'am, not on my watch."
No, because you ain't gonna be fired.
Because they ain't did nothing to that baby, and you ain't finna make it seem like I ain't doing my job. No, ma'am, not today. So that was quickly dismissed. Like that wasn't even given any energy.
Yeah.
So September 19th, the extradition hearing actually starts. And evidence was presented, and it kind of seemed like everything was going all right. Shirley, listen, I'm gonna say this. Canada is wrong. It's two left shoes, as my mama would say. But I will give a shout out to her legal team because they had to dig
for that.
They had to dig.
Right.
Like, and I can imagine that's why stuff kept getting pushed back because they needed time to make it make sense. So her attorney came out. Hold on, I got it in quotations.
I think it was like the evidence presented.
Yeah, she said her attorney said the authority to proceed with the hearings earlier in the year failed to mention subsections 1 or 2 of section 229A of the criminal code. The authority to proceed and the 90-day limit had passed. Therefore, the charges for extradition should be dropped so she can move on with her life. Is Andrew moving on with his?
And then Kate and David only can move on 1 hour a week.
They're not even really move on, just cope.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Feel a little better.
So that was on September 19th. Judge came back on the 22nd and said, or no, we finna go on ahead with this case.
Yeah. I don't know what you got going on.
But. Finally, somebody tried to do something. So, again, me and all my notes. Okay, yeah, I'm missing a page. You go ahead.
So that happened on, you said the 22nd. That was the 22nd, October 22nd. They continued, right?
That was September 22nd. And so, no, wait. Hold on. Am I getting ahead of myself?
I think so.
Oh, so, no. I'm bugging. No. Sorry, y'all. Clerical error. That the judge came back on the 22nd of September and said they're going to go ahead with the trial. November 14th.
Jail.
Yeah, Judge Derek Green declared that a properly instructed jury could likely find her guilty of what she was being accused of. In turn, she had to go to jail. And get ready for extradition.
Yep.
I'm gonna let you tell this part because I'm gonna get mad.
So then the baby was given to Kate and David. And then that came with all these rules. They had to accept phone calls from her
daily
phone calls. And they also had to
visit once a week.
No matter the weather.
And they said that's a good 2-hour drive, whether
weather or bad weather or the storm or the snowstorm. And they did it religiously because they had to do that, in order to keep their baby or their grandson. And then some woman, go ahead.
I didn't bother to write her name down because
Gail Welsh.
Why would you? That's the part that's going like.
Shirley wrote a letter to all these people trying to finesse her way out of jail, and she finessed some woman named Gail, and she gave her.
And Gail did worse because she literally asked her verbatim, almost. Are you going to be good?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, I do.
Like she was talking to a toddler.
I understand.
And not a grown woman with grown kids and a new baby.
Yeah.
End up being married and divorced and killed your boyfriend.
He wasn't her boyfriend no more. It was the ex-boyfriend.
Oh, because he put her on a plane. I forgot.
Yeah.
That was cold. Look, Andrew.
And she basically said, like, I don't think that she's a danger to society because
she killed the person she was mad at, so I don't feel like she's a danger to the community.
That dad said, most of us is angry to the wall. We even say a cuss word. We don't go and kill anyone.
No, for real. We might even have a nice little scuffle, but I'm not gonna kill you. I have never been mad, especially about a breakup. I have never been mad enough to kill. First of all, let's be clear. As much as we love talking about this stuff and watching it, both of us are entirely too lazy.
I'm not doing a murder.
To do, because first of all, I need help.
Yeah.
So then I gotta tell somebody.
Right. Now I gotta ask somebody else in drama. And then now we gotta go on with the secret. Hiding like
and this is just the compounding of lies. It's just too much.
It's too much.
I've always said if I gotta kill you, I'm gonna just sit on the curb, light my spliff, and wait for the police to show up. Because it's just too much to try to cover it up. Yeah, it's too much. So shout out to Gail.
So January 10th of 2003, she gets out, and baby Zachary has to go back to that mama. And now she's out. So now they're sharing the baby. So now they have to see her.
So this is what was supposed to happen. They were supposed to have allotted visitation for 4 hours certain days of the week. And then he was supposed to spend the night every other weekend.
Yeah, one day every other week or whatever like that.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 days out the week they give 4 hours, and then he can actually stay the weekend with them every other weekend. Shirley would go out of her way to make sure she had to be there for everything, or she was controlling the visitation. And the recording that got me, which screamed guilty amongst a multitude of other things, was when they recorded, they played that phone call when she was like, it's not, I know you guys won't do anything to him, talking about Zachary, but I just don't know what you guys are saying to him and what you're telling him. First of all, the baby was too little to fully comprehend. They probably were going to tell him or wanted to tell him. Yeah. He was too young to comprehend it. Shout out to David for always cutting the conversation short, because he was smart enough to know I'm not saying nothing to you out the way without my lawyer present.
Right.
Smart man. And she would try to push it and push it.
I love the way that he handled her, period. He handled it. And I love it.
He handled the fuck out of her.
You got away with this crap with my child, but listen here.
You're not doing it with my grandbaby.
Right. This ain't gonna come out of here. This not gonna happen. If you want food, we'll drop it at your porch. You know, we don't need to say nothing else. Then to ask the mom to put a picture of me and Andrew that says mommy and daddy. Girl, bye. I wish the hell I would put a picture of you and my son that you murdered in a frame for my grandson to say mommy and daddy. I'm with the daddy. We thought
he was on it. He was, and I feel like Kate just didn't say nothing. Kate wanted to fight her. I don't care. Kate wanted to put hands on her because I feel like that would be like me and Paul situation. Like, I'm a lot more hot-headed than he is. So I could see him just taking the reins like, no, we're not going to do this. I think it's best that we discuss certain things when a lawyer's around, because you know me, it's going to be a different conversation. Yeah. What do you mean I can't get my grandbaby?
I mean, you just don't know until you get there. And I say, my only child, you take him away from me, girl.
And that's what I'm saying. That they don't have no other kids, even though they have all his friends. And I love how his friends like really surrounded them after he died.
With just so much love and support.
Yeah. But she played entirely too much. So we done went through all the custody and she being stupid. Yeah. So the next hearing was set for September 25th, 2000. No, wait, wrong page. No, that was right. September 25th, 2000.
It was Andrew's 30th birthday.
Yeah, it was set for Andrew's 30th birthday. Oddly enough.
Yep.
And I feel like she not feel like, she knew she was going to be found guilty. She knew it. She knew it. There was no evidence pointing towards anybody. Like, they never even got a chance to investigate anybody else because everything went straight back to her. Like, you didn't even play it smart enough to like deter them for a couple months. You did just straight to you.
Here it is. And here it is.
Right. On August 18, 2003, David and Kate Bagby came home to a note in their front door from the Constable Walsh asking them to contact him. Mm-hmm. They were advised that Zachary and Shirley were missing and a search party was set up. We wouldn't be talking about it if everybody survived.
Right.
The search turned up Shirley and little Zachary's bodies at the end of a pier, dead. She had drugged herself and Zachary. Mm-hmm. Was it Xanax?
It was Ativan or something.
Ativan, that's what it was, with Ativan. Mm-hmm. Took a sweater, tied Zachary to...
That's a big baby.
That was a big sweater.
He was big. He was so chunky.
But that's probably why they found him separated, because once she hit the water, that sweater gave.
Yeah.
So tied him, strapped him to her. They said luckily he was asleep. So from what they could tell, he didn't suffer. Yeah. He was already unconscious. And she jumped off the edge of the pier, and it was officially a murder-suicide.
Yep. Meanwhile, all the evidence say she was on suicide watch in jail. She had made threats to a new boyfriend.
Oh, girl.
And tried to frame him for the girl.
But she's not a threat to the rest of the community.
No. She already killed who she wanted to kill.
Mental health is real, y'all.
Yeah.
It's really real. Because we tried, because our focus has changed, and we're trying to give y'all the best timeline we can give y'all. We tried to find stuff about Shirley. Didn't nobody care. Because you can't find nothing about her prior to this.
I even looked at her son. I think her son was like TJ or something like that.
Yeah, because she took the son TJ car.
Yeah. But his last name must not be Turner, because I couldn't find it. I was trying my best.
I mean, that's just like Jeffrey Dahmer brother. We'll never know who he is. I might work with Jeffrey Dahmer brother, but I don't know.
I don't know that person. I don't
know who that man is. Yeah. Never seen him a day in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I know she had 2 other kids, but they never mentioned anything. And
that was a key point too. We did good with keeping up with this timeline, because it was all over the place.
Because Kurt had us going. Okay.
Kurt really had us going. He was giving a little here, giving a little there. It wasn't necessarily in order. I think we did really good. But I lost my train of thought that fast.
The husband.
No. Yeah, the husbands. She had a key factor is, that's what it was. Thank you for bringing me back. A key factor in this is she had other kids. Yeah. But she never had custody of them. The fathers of those kids raised those kids. And her words were, kids were more trouble than what they were worth. So it is a strong belief that she used Zachary literally just as a pawn. She didn't want him for real.
Right.
To the point where they even mentioned that if Zachary had to choose between Kate and Shirley, he would always go to Kate.
Did you see the video? He was like, "Oh, please let me out of here, lady."
Yeah, he didn't like it, but like the babies can sense your spirit, and they can sense that you're evil, that you're mean. There's something wrong.
They love me,
right? And especially for your own baby to react to you like that. So this one's a bit tragic, because
it's like one of those. It's sad, but it feels good because you see the love for Kate and that's why I like, because you see the love for Kate.
Yeah, Kurt did really, really good,
and you see the devotion. Like the parent, they were so devoted to their son, and just like trying to get that baby for them, and the system just failed them.
No, shout out to Canada.
Yeah, I mean, they just fail them every time. I swear, every time you think it's something just so plain and simple, you just want to.
And it immediately, like from the phone records to the flip-flopping, fleeing the country. Like, if I ain't never seen a red flag a day in my life, Hers was as big as the United States, the American flag, because it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know.
You lived like you couldn't even wait. That's my thing.
But
you couldn't even wait. You couldn't even act like everything was cool.
You just said I'm out of here.
A couple years.
But she knew. She's going to jail. And then
I'm talking about before she even killed him.
Oh.
Like you couldn't even wait a year or two, act like you ain't care no more, and then come back and do it.
Yeah.
So it don't seem well, they've been getting along. Yeah.
Oh, she said
no.
I kick it today.
You came back the next day.
Yeah. But Kate and David are the ones that lose at the end of the day. They lost their child and they lost their grandchild. And
we tried to look up where Kate and David is right now. And we don't know if they're alive or not. Hopefully they're doing well wherever they are, if they are still living.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, shout out to them because they really handled that exceptionally. Like, and it's literally, and that goes to show you the love a parent can have for their child or grandchild, because to know in your heart, this is the woman that murdered your only son, your only child, and still be humble enough to entertain the request, and just go with the punches so you can be in your grandson's life. That just to me shows the lengths a parent will go to do what they feel is right.
It was David when he said, I thought about many times killing her. He said,
I should slap that bitch.
I was going to give Kate one of my sleeping pills. I was going to go kill her and we going to kidnap the baby. But then we have to live without our family and friends, and that's no fun. And I was just like,
David was so, my gosh, David was so sick of her.
He was like, and then when he was like, this is what she did to us when Kate was crying. And I'm just like, I like this. I hate when people try to sit there and want, like last week's episode when that sister was sitting there acting like she didn't give a damn. That made me mad. I'm like, man.
I'm not going to say she didn't give a damn, but it don't sit right with me.
Right. I'm with David.
I'll go watch the episode. And after you watch our episode, watch the documentary on YouTube. What was it? He had 3 different names.
I don't know the damn name.
But go find it. Go to the page. You'll find it.
Yeah.
Because he had a
Dear Zachary on Amazon. Dear Zachary's on Amazon. And it's a good documentary. It's like
Dear Zachary is on Amazon.
Happy and sad.
I think it was wholesome for what it was.
I think his friend did a good job.
Yeah. Again, Kurt, you do any more documentaries? Just on the important, pertinent parts where we need all the information, and you just a tad, just slow it down just a little bit.
I even tried to look up Kurt, see what he was doing. I couldn't find him either. I'm like, what are people hiding? I'm trying to find y'all. Couldn't find him.
We got to find some better resources, because
I know, because Google
all the people, and you can find nothing.
I couldn't,
especially with a detailed timeline like he gave, and you can find nobody.
You know what? I should look up the ex-fiance, because she's a doctor. I'm sure she's on Google. Because they were doctors.
I mean, yeah, but all we would know is she's a doctor. I don't know how much of her personal life will be
on there
available. Yeah.
But yeah, it was like I like the documentary. I think he did a good job. It made me feel good and sad. I cried, and I
don't cry as easily as she does. I was touched, but I don't cry as easily.
Oh, I cry all the time. I cry.
I mean, I cry all the time too, just not about the stuff you cry about.
Yeah, I cry about the girl. I just cry. The dog.
I can't watch Forrest Gump with her.
No,
because that literally, I only cried to Forrest Gump one time out of the 10,000 times I've seen it, and it's because I was watching it with her. She's scary and she a crybaby.
This is true. I'm tough.
No, she's super tough is the weird part. And we're just gonna say tough to put it nicely because we on YouTube. But she's super tough, but she's scary and she's a crybaby. It's funny because you're scary, but you ain't scary.
That's true.
Well, that concludes the episode for Dear Zachary. Little Zachary Andrew Bagby
and then
Andrew Bagby.
Yeah.
And that hope. That hoe.
I feel like I know Dave and Kate. I feel like they meet.
No, he did. Like, I gotta find Kurt because he need to do a documentary on my life because that was just like amazing.
And all the home video, and I really like all the home videos. Like I really felt like I knew the boy, and I don't even know the boy. Like
it does. It does make you feel closer to
him.
Yeah.
Now you mad at Shirley.
Yeah. No.
She's not even mad at Shirley. That stupid wig she had on.
That wasn't a wig. That was her hair.
No, that costume wig. When they did that first picture, she was like, I was like, oh, girl.
She looked weird. You ever look at somebody and be like, they kind of off?
Yeah, her dance moves. I was like, girl.
She just
yeah, she didn't
look she looked a little off.
You could tell Andrew was just done with her. You could tell he was just tired of her.
I could see why her dad, like, I get why he was done with her and they never went into detail about everything that just transpired. They just said she was obsessive. But whatever was going on, David was done with her just as much as Andrew was.
Yeah, and so was Michelle. Michelle, the ex-fiance, she was done with her.
Because what did you calling me about him for?
Right.
And he dead. Girl, I'm not worried about you.
Right. Come on now. Now you're being disrespectful, and this is my friend.
Like, yeah, because they were still cool.
They were still friends, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Go watch it on Amazon. It's really good.
It is. Watch it on Amazon after you watch it here.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget
to get to that. They had
Don't forget to like, share. I'm pushing right now for opinions, feedback, anything y'all feel like we can do better. Go to all 10,000 of our social media outlets. You can comment on Instagram, No Crime After Dark _podcast. Facebook, No Crime After Dark. We have a like page and a group, both under the same name. I just opened our Twitter today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just be doing stuff. Yeah, you're gonna be on that in a minute too. We had our staff meeting. I don't know how far we done got with the results, but we had our staff meeting.
I got my notes. I wrote everything down.
I can look at what I need to do.
I have a list here.
Twitter account is because Twitter is stupid and you can only have 15 characters in your name. And our podcast name is one character over. I had to get creative.
What'd you put?
So instead of it saying No Crime After Dark, it's the letter X, as in no, and then Crime After Dark, because I had to get rid of a letter.
Okay.
So shout out to Twitter for not giving me a 15th character.
Yeah.
Or 16th character. And also check us out on Spreaker. That's the podcast. If you don't have time to be sitting looking at our faces, you can log into Spreaker. And No Crime After Dark, same thing. Again, I'm still working on getting us on Spotify and Apple Podcast and what's the other one? iHeartRadio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's something that Spreaker offers us. So I'm still working on how to get it all intertwined so y'all don't have to go to Spreaker. Y'all can check us out wherever it's convenient for y'all. Yeah. And I know most of y'all team iPhone. I personally am not, but you can check us out on Apple Podcast here soon. But other than that, stay safe. Don't date crazy people.
Goodbye.
Canada keep our laws together.
Don't date crazy people. That's what we did this whole time.
Since we started, that's the whole point. Just don't date crazy people. We'll catch y'all next week.
Bye.